Welcome to our introduction to Phase 1 Environmental Reports. I'm going to be asking Peter George about Phase 1 Environmental Reports and what they involve and why local authorities require them as a planning condition.
This is to ensure that there would be no risk to human health or to the wider environment. It's in response to our growing awareness of the number of potential contaminants, some man-made, others naturally occurring, that can cause harm to human health.
Would this not be obvious just from looking at the site?
Sometimes it is, but quite often it's not that obvious. Contaminants can remain in the ground for long periods of time after past historic industrial processes have ended, and they can also be transported considerable distances by the groundwater. We looked at a site recently, and the owner of the property was quite adamant that we were wasting our time as the whole area was residential. It transpired that their property, when we looked at old Ordnance Survey maps, was located over a clay pit which had been dug back in the 1800s to provide clay for the local brickworks. Subsequently, that pit was filled, most likely with rubbish produced by the local properties and industries, so there could be any number of potential contaminants in the ground, and also material that could be producing land gas that could be a danger to property.
So how would you go about finding out if there was a problem?
In most cases we would visit the site first, have a good look round for any visual clues. The obvious things like fly tipping, current, commercial activity either on the site or nearby rivers or other sensitive receptors. We might ask questions of those on the site or working or living nearby. We would then look up historic information, we would look at ground conditions and water table, draw all this information together in order to create a whole picture of the site and then assess what level of risk there would be to people either on the site or neighbours of the site.
What happens next?
If the report indicates that no further action is required because no significant risks to human health or the wider environment have been identified, and both the bodies commissioning the report and the regulatory authorities agree, no further action may be required. But each site is looked at on a case-by-case basis, taking into account not only the past usage and nature of the site, but also the proposed use. Clearly a site that's going to be used for allotments and perhaps next to a river or stream is likely to be far more sensitive than one that's proposed for parking of heavy goods vehicles. The next stage, if required, would be to undertake a Phase 2 investigation. This would require boreholes or trial pits to collect soil samples which would be tested for appropriate contaminants depending on the advice of the Phase 1 report. But whatever we think is appropriate and whatever we think should be the future steps will be outlined in our Phase 1 report.
What should anyone who wants to order a report or find out more do?
Please just phone me on 020 8291 1676 or on my mobile 07765 232 995, and I'd be happy to have a chat with you about your particular site.
Thank you, Peter. I hope you found that helpful.